Welcome to the Akashic Library.
You ever have that feeling where you're super close to someone, but you feel like you don't really know them? Well, today we're diving into a pretty fascinating and hidden psychological idea, the dangers of having a missing self. It's one of those things with really subtle signs, but the fallout, it can be absolutely huge, especially for the people who fall for the illusion. So let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a relationship that just felt perfect right from the start? I mean, you meet someone and you're convinced they're your soulmate, your other half, and then, almost overnight, they turn into a complete stranger. If any of that is ringing a bell, you're going to want to stick around, because we're about to pull back the curtain on what was likely going on. All right, let's give this person a name. We'll call them the chameleon. You've probably met one. They are some of the most charming people on the planet. Incredibly polite, they hang on every word you say, and, like magic, they love all the same movies, all the same books, all the same weird ideas that you do. But here's the real kicker. They're not just pretending. They actually absorb your worldview and make it theirs. So what is really happening here? Because behind that perfect, mirror-like exterior, there's often this deep, painful emptiness, this internal void. To really get the chameleon, we've got to first understand the question that's always echoing inside their head. The term for this is a missing sense of self. And listen, this isn't just being a little wishy-washy. We're talking about a profound, radical uncertainty about who they even are. The best way to think about it is like this. They're missing that internal compass, that solid core that most of us just take for granted to help us navigate life. This slide right here, this gets to the absolute heart of it. Just look at the difference in their internal monologue. For most of us, it starts with I. What do I like? What do I think is funny? But for the chameleon, the question is always pointing outwards. What am I supposed to like? When should I be laughing right now? Their sense of self isn't coming from inside. It's being crowdsourced constantly from everyone around them. So you have to wonder, how does a person even end up like this? Well, as it so often does, the answer is buried in childhood. To get the whole picture, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. A lot of the time, it starts with parents or caregivers who are just too wrapped up in their own world to really see the child that's right in front of them. So the kids' little quirks, their actual likes and dislikes, they just get ignored or, worse, dismissed. The child learns a really critical lesson for survival. To get love and attention here, I have to be what they want me to be. Complying becomes their only way to feel safe, and in doing that, their real, authentic identity gets sacrificed. And wow, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It's such a tragic bargain. For this kid, the price of simply existing in their own family is to completely give up their real identity. The idea of being yourself, that's just not even on the menu. And that survival skill they learned as a kid, that's what sets the stage for a really dangerous turn when they become an adult. Because even though chameleons can be so captivating, that lack of a solid core self, it's a huge risk. And nowhere does that become clearer than in the arc of a romantic relationship. These relationships tend to follow a really predictable and pretty painful script. It all starts with that intense mirroring. They soak up your personality, and honestly, it feels amazing. You feel so seen. But then the wind changes. Maybe it's a new job or a new group of friends, and all of a sudden, they need a new identity to borrow. And just as fast as that adoration showed up, it can flip into total disdain, leaving you with absolute whiplash. So why does that flip happen? It's because they start to feel trapped. That identity they so desperately borrowed from you now feels like a prison. And you, their partner, you become a living, breathing symbol of the person they had to pretend to be, which of course was never really them at all. This is usually when you start to hear the accusation, "You're controlling me." But as this quote explains so well, what they're really saying is something so much deeper and sadder. It's more like, I have no idea who I am, I gave you all the control, and now I resent you for it because I still don't know what to think on my own. They see you as the jailer when really the prison has been inside of them this whole time. And the result of all this is almost always shocking and just brutal. As the source material puts it so perfectly, you can find yourself dropped like a stone. The relationship just ends, out of the blue, and you're left totally heartbroken and confused, trying to figure out what on earth just happened. Okay, but this isn't a completely hopeless situation. So what's the path forward here? Is it actually possible to help someone find that real person that's been locked away for their entire life? The absolute key is to break the cycle. Instead of handing them another set of opinions to copy, you have to do the exact opposite. Don't push your views on them, don't ask them to agree with you. Instead, you just have to get genuinely curious. Ask them gentle questions about the person they were never allowed to become. The whole goal is to do something truly rare for them, to create a safe space where they can finally get to know themselves. And that really leaves us with one last powerful thought to chew on, because this isn't just about understanding other people. It's a question we can and maybe should all turn back on ourselves and ask. Who have you never been allowed to discover?
Without a strong sense of self, relationships become substitutes instead of partnerships. Next, we'll ask whether happiness should really be the ultimate goal.